Okay, so today we're taking a look at 7th Sector on the Nintendo Switch. This one, nothing like what I expected. I went in thinking this was an adventure title, and in fact it's pretty much a puzzle game with a twist, especially visually. But can it do enough to get our recommendation and join your library, or is this one just simply an easy avoid? Let's take a look. So for a game that is largely puzzle based, it does not skimp on story, that's for sure. This one you're exploring a cyberpunk world, looking for information on the world around you and understanding just how it's become this kind of terrifying dystopian setting. The story is definitely minimalistic. Expect just basically very few cutscenes or information just handed to you. This one, it's for you to explore. You need to piece it together yourself and then walk away with your own interpretation. For me, that setup of self-building the story was incredibly rewarding, and it's for sure a conversation piece if you know multiple people who went on this journey. I'm not giving you any more than that. I'm keeping this one entirely spoiler free, and to enjoy it is to see things and piece it together yourself for that first playthrough. I will say though, here you can expect branching storylines, different characters to control, and 4 different endings. This means you could have a very different experience to me, and that's exciting for sure. Overall, I guarantee you one thing: the moment you start this game, the opening seconds you control a shadow figure on a TV set, you will immediately have questions to what the hell is happening. It hooks you from there and then just never lets you go. Get ready for an extremely unique experience here. Gameplay here, it's simple but effective. I want to make this clear now, it's very much a puzzle game and it's firing them at you at a hell of a quick pace. It is slow paced in its progression, but it's one puzzle after another just consistently, and it has some very challenging moments. Starting as a ball of electricity moving and navigating electrical wires, it will initially feel somewhat pretty limited in its movement. But this is quickly removed as you take control of different devices, such as an electricity powered ball, a drone, that was my favourite, and a pretty cool ass if creepy looking android. It not only uses this though to mix up the gameplay, but as a tool of the story. As a drone you can fly high and see where the sky still hits the ground. That was a very powerful moment for me, and it adds to the emotion of the whole experience. This though also impacts the puzzle types you will face. A movable object is extremely more flexible in comparison to the confines of electrical wires, and you feel that. Everything's just so calculated and well pieced together while mixing up the gameplay controls and restrictions. Now with the puzzles, for the most part, I'll say this: they do enough to get you thinking for a couple of minutes, but they never get to that point where you want to put your controller down and just leave this world behind. I want to put emphasis here on me saying though, for the most part, because there's a couple in here that are just way too hard, honestly, and they really spike the difficulty level for me. It kind of slows you to a complete halt, and that was a little disappointing. Fortunately though, this issue only occurs maybe a couple of times, and it's easier to handle when you expect it. When designing this, they fully recognised that moving the story forward at a relatively quick pace was what was going to keep it so engaging. So yeah, they missed on a couple of areas, but even they still provide a higher level of reward naturally. Puzzles though, as the types you can expect to see, everything from moving containers, moving objects, finding specific paths that you need to follow, moving crates, which becomes like a shape-based puzzle, a lot of mathematical puzzles which might not be for everyone. And while we do see some repetition with some of the puzzles, they haven't gone overboard. They're not just trying to pad the playtime here. I like that because I hate gameplay for the sake of gameplay. Here they focus on a rewarding 4 hours of gameplay, and they definitely succeed. Overall, I had a great time. It never outstays its welcome. It mixes up gameplay here by changing your abilities, but then uses this in a way that opens up, our new ability to explore even further, see more, and then just push the player's understanding of the world forward. Graphically, this one, it's pretty, that's for sure. This world is not only unique, but extremely varied. Yeah, on initial impression, it's easy to see a very colourless world. After all, it embraces its dystopian setting, that's for sure, but it's the small details to me that make it something special, and those rare moments that contrast this. It's very similar in style to Inside. If you didn't play that, that's for sure a compliment. But here, the graphical style easily identifies important moments and emotional changes. The first moment you pilot the drone to see the night sky, it's that stunning moments like that just instantly get you. You'll see dead bodies in bathtubs, people walking around. It gets some real creepy imagery in here. Then as you move indoors and outdoors, everything just adds a little bit more, something unique that I've not seen before, from digital signs to dirt on the ground to neon lights and alarms. It's not stuff for the sake of stuff, but to establish the setting. This graphical style, it's extremely clean and sharp looking on the Switch, and it outputs perfectly docked or undocked. So last up today, we've got audio, and it's just another win. I'm going to put it out there now. Composed by Nobody's Nail Machine. They previously worked on Fallout Nevada and Fallout City of Phoenix, mods of the Fallout games, if that's not obvious already. But here they developed a 22-track soundtrack that matches this world in a stunning way. Suitably electronic without falling into, like a dance vibe. This is budget Blade Runner, and that's another huge compliment. Great beats, lead lines that build as you progress, ominous to add fear, emotional when it needs to be. I've been listening to this one offline. It's unfortunately not on Spotify, but I did find the Bandcamp page where you can listen to it for free, or it's got one of those, name your own price format to download it. I'm going to actually link it below in the description. So even if you don't get this game, check it out, show them some love, because it's a really good soundtrack, and I hope to hear more work from them. Yes, music is for sure at the forefront for sound design, but they again didn't get lazy with the rest of the sounds going on around you. We get some really strong environmental design. Everything feels like it has audio attached to it, from the mechanical movement of the android through to the flight of the drone. I will say, if I had to stretch for a complaint, I wish the environments were built up just a tiny bit more, give us a bit more variance, but yeah, as I said, I'm really stretching there for a complaint. Overall, 7th Sector, it's a game that hooked me from the opening moments through to the very, very end. And then I wanted to go back and replay it to start seeing the 4 different endings. It's very hard for me to find issues. For the genre, it's accomplished. And one thing I didn't mention through this entire review, it comes from a one-man development team. That's seriously impressive. Complaints? We're missing the museum download content here that you will find in the Steam variation. That's a first-person narrative experience that was released just as DLC to expand on the universe. I'm sure it might come one day, but to be honest, it's like a 5-minute walking simulator where you read signs in a museum, so I don't feel like we're missing too much. There's a few extremely challenging puzzles that just kind of stunt your playthrough speed. And then yes, I will say there's also an increased price tag. Yes, this is $20 in the US or £17 roughly in the UK compared to the current asking price of $13 on Steam. It's honestly very little to complain about though. Even the price doesn't really upset me, it's worth it. And with the Switch, it's not being self-published anymore. Here they're working with Sometime U, a great publisher who finds absolute gems to put out to the world. But naturally, that comes with an attached price tag for every party involved. Today, I'm awarding 7th Sector a rare, amazing 9 out of 10. It's a hell of an experience that brings something unique to the table. Yes, it has some minor flaws in here, but as experiences go, I just loved it from start to finish. This one-man team has created something I'm sure some larger teams would honestly struggle to put together, and I urge everyone with even just an ounce of curiosity to take a gamble on this one. I hope one day we do get to revisit the 7th Sector world. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I can be pretty tough in my reviews, and 9s, they are definitely rare, so I'd love to see what everyone thinks. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and we'll see you all on the next Gaming X.